Good morning. My name's Miss Henning. I will be your virtual teacher for a little bit. My room is in A220, so you're more than welcome to come in here anytime during the day. If you need some help, I will be making a video every day. If for some reason you're not here today, there'll be extra copies in the room. You can make up that work or it'll be on Canvas, but you have to be logged into your student school account in order to watch the YouTube video. Okay, so today I'm going to go over the review with you. I'm going to do half, and then you guys will do the other half. Tomorrow, you guys are going to do your test. Okay, so your test is going to look exactly like the review. So take good notes. You can use this on your test. I'll have them graded, and the teacher can pass them back before you take your test. Okay, whoever's ever in the room. So number one, I want you to find the slope of each line. And so to find a slope, we always count from the bottom to the top, and I want to draw you this little graph. So there's two different types of slope. The first being if your line's facing this way, then it's going to be a positive slope. Okay, and then if your line is going that way, and we kind of look at where the top part of the line is. So this is the top part of the line, and that's over in the negatives. Okay, and this top part of the line is in the positives. So the rest of it's kind of self-explanatory, but you count from the bottom and work your way up. So we rise 2, and we run 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now 2 over 4 does simplify to 1/2, but I will take either of these answers. Okay, so either one of those works, and we found the slope of that line. Okay, if I go too fast, sometimes it's hard for me to teach virtually. Just pause the video or have your teacher pause the video. Okay. The next one says find the slope of the line through each pair of points. So our slope formula is this. Okay, the formulas will not be in the room, so make sure that you take a second today and write them down on your sheet. Okay, so that's our formula, and we're going to go through and label x1, y1, x2, y2. Shh. Okay, whisper. So we got y2 is negative 17 minus my y1 is 14 over x2 is 17 minus x1 is negative 1. Okay, my suggestion to you would be to use a calculator, and if you don't know how to use these, because you cannot use your phone or iPad during the test, no, you're not using it for a calculator. There's calculators in the room. Okay, you're gonna hit the fraction button. Sorry, you're gonna hit the fraction button, and then you can type in the top, negative 17 minus 14. Okay, and on the bottom, you're gonna get 17 minus negative 1. Okay, and we can hit equals, and it already reduces the fraction for you if it needs reduced. So you're going to get negative 31 over 18. Okay, and so we found the slope. Okay, the next one, I want you to find the slope of each line. So in these first two, these are in the form of, and if they're not, you need to get them in this form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, where the m is our slope and the b is your y-intercept. Okay, and so they want us to find the slope, and so you can see that y is by itself on this one, and so it looks good. So your m is just going to be negative 1/2. Okay, 7, same thing. So we look, and our y is not by itself, and so we need to get it by itself first. Okay, so we're going to say minus 2x minus 2x. So you're going to get y equals 4 minus 2x. Okay, you kind of just write it out, but you leave it in a straight line. And your m is attached to the x. And so we look here and say, well, what's attached to the x? And so your slope is going to be that negative 2. So you say m equals negative 2. Okay, number 9, I want you to find the slope of the parallel line given. So same thing. Our slope is kind of in this formula, y equals mx plus b. Okay, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. But there are some rules. So if we're talking parallel, okay, parallel, we always, the slope is going to stay the same. So you keep the same slope. Okay, so all parallel lines, you keep the same slope. So when we're looking at 9, my slope is whatever's attached to my x. And you can see that that -3 is attached to the x, and parallel, we keep it the same. So my slope is -3. It is not -3x, okay? Okay, 11, same thing, we're still working with parallel, so we're gonna keep the slope the same, but we do need to get that y by itself first, okay? And so your very first move is always gonna be to add or subtract the x's. And so in this case, you're gonna subtract -3x. So, and you got negative y equals -5 minus 3x. Okay, we just took this and wrote it in a straight line. Okay, but we need y equals, not negative y equals. And so there's really this imaginary 1 in front of here. And so if there's a number that's attached to the y or just a negative, you're going to have to divide. Okay, you're always going to add or subtract the x's. Okay, on any of these problems that are in standard form. Okay, you're going to add or subtract the x's. And then you're going to divide the number we say next to the y. Okay, and so in this case, the number next to the y is -1. So you're going to divide everything by -1. Okay, so that way these cancel. And we got y equals -5 divided by -1 is just going to be 5. -3x divided by -1 or -3 divided by -1 is going to be a +3, and we still have that x on there. Okay, and so we look at those and say, well, which one is our slope? Is the 5 our slope, or is the 3 our slope? And in this case, whatever's attached to the x is always going to be your slope. So our m, our slope, is going to be 3. Okay, the next one says find the slope of a line that's perpendicular. Okay, so same thing, we need all of our stuff to be in this y equals mx plus b form. Okay, and then perpendicular, we have to flip and change the slope. Okay, and I'm going to do a couple random ones, so don't write it down, but so if our slope is 1/4, when we're talking perpendicular, you're going to flip it. So it's going to become 4/1, and you're going to change it. This one was positive, meaning that this one should be negative. Okay, if our slope is 4, okay, well, if it's a 4, you can really just put a 1 under it. Okay, so you're going to flip it. This will be 1/4, and change it. So if this is a positive, then this one should be a negative. Okay, if it's like -2/7, we're going to flip it. So it's going to be 7/2 and change it. Well, this one was a negative, so that means that this one should be positive. Okay. So when we're looking at this, we can see that the y is by itself, so that's good. And so we're dealing with perpendicular, so we need to flip. So right now, this is our slope. Okay, and we want to do perpendicular, so you're going to flip it. So it's going to be 4/3. And change it. Well, right now it's a positive, so then that means this one should be a negative. Okay, 15 says the same thing. So we're trying to get the y by itself and we look at it and it's not. Okay, so the steps are still going to be the same. You're always going to add or subtract the x's and then divide by the number next to y. Okay, so we need to add or subtract the x's. And so in this case, there's really two ones. There's really a 1 right here and a 1 right here. Okay, so you're going to add or subtract the x's. And so in this case, we need to subtract by 1x. You got negative 1y equals negative 3 minus 1x. And then you always divide by the number that's next to the y. And so you're going to divide everything by a negative 1. So you get y equals negative 3 divided by negative 1 is 3. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is a positive 1x. Okay, and because we're doing perpendicular, we got to look and say, well, what's our slope? Well, our slope is 1, so you're going to flip it, okay? And so you could put a 1 under here, but if you flip 1 over 1, it's still going to be 1, okay? And we're going to change it, so it should just be a negative 1. So my m is going to equal negative 1. Okay, and then the last thing that will be on your test is scatter plots, okay? So state if there appears to be a positive, negative, or no correlation, okay? So positive correlation is gonna look like this. If your graph is overall going up, okay, even if there's one like random one, those black ones, overall, it's still positive, okay? So it's going to be a positive correlation. A negative one is going to look like this, okay, if they're going down. And same thing, even if there's like a random one here or a random one there, overall, the majority of the points are going down, so it's going to be a negative correlation. Okay, and then lastly, we have a no correlation, and that's where like your dots are just random. Okay, so that one's going to be a no correlation. Okay, so if we look at this first one, my x is at 10, so we're going to go to the 10 column, and my y is at 4. Well, 4 is going to be pretty much way down there. Okay, and then I got another one at 10, 4, so you can like put the dot just barely above the other dot. I know it should be 2 dots on one, but then you won't be able to see them. Okay. And then we got at 20 and 53, so that's still going to be way down here. 30 and 131. Okay, and we're kind of just like guessing. You'll be able to get a picture, but you're never going to be able to plot exactly on 131. Okay, 30 and, whoops. 30 and 137. 30 and 139, 60 and 13,000. So this is 200,000. So same thing. It's going to be way low. 90 and 300,000. So that's going to be somewhere up here. 90 and 515. And then 100 and... that's going to be somewhere about there. Okay, and so somewhere overall, we look at our dots. Okay, we started off pretty low, and overall, it's going up. Okay, if you were to like connect a line, okay, and I don't care, your dots don't need to be perfect, just plot them. But overall, you can connect a line and see, let me erase my line, and see that overall it's positive. Okay, so that's going to be a positive correlation. Okay, so you guys are going to go through and do all of the even ones. Make sure that your name is on your paper, and put them in the box or wherever. Hand them to the teacher, and they can label them first period or whatever, or second period. And I'll come pick them up and get them graded for you. Tomorrow you guys are going to take your test. No phones, no iPads, but you can use your review, okay? If you want your review graded back, you need to make sure that that I get it, okay? If you need help, you're more than welcome to come in my room. I'm in A220. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Good luck on your test.